was like, oh, that's cool, I want to do that. And they're like, well, I've got to be able to play in these conditions. I did not move. Never ever felt anything like that in my life.
So what was your first gig like?
First, like, ever?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I first played at like Ignition, but my first ever set was like at 3 a.m. and I had like 10 people on the dance floor, and that was like scary and really exciting. Our camp lead was like, okay, so who wants to DJ, because our camp gets first dibs. And I was like, oh, that's cool, I want to do that, because like this is the first time I've ever gone to any kind of burn or anything like this. And then one of the other camp leads was there, and then the next day he's like, do you want to play at our camp after the effigy burn? He had no idea that I had literally, that was my first set. So I was just like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And I think it was like 3 days before I got contacted by the event coordinator saying, oh yeah, by the way, you're playing at 3 a.m. And I was like, oh my gosh, called up two of my friends, DJ named Sonic Climax and Dirty Harry. He works for a company, Low Tech, and they rent out event equipment for like big things. So I went to this warehouse and they had all this like equipment there. I'm playing on like the biggest, greatest decks at the time. And his boss is there and he's playing with these big LED wall panels and like smoke machines and everything. And they're like, well, if you're going to be a DJ, you've got to be able to play in these conditions. And so I was like, okay. So I basically got a bit of a crash course on how to DJ before my first gig, which I got booked for before I knew how to DJ. So yeah, and it was in a truck, and they just kind of pulled the sides up and decorated it. So it was like quite high. I hate being like above the crowd. It's not a nice feeling for me. I feel like I'm on a pedestal, and I don't like. I like to be like quite level with the crowd. It's much more of like an exchange, you know what I mean? And that was intense. I can't describe the feeling of the energy that I felt like flowing through me. I was rigid. I did not move. I was like this the whole time, because like the energy, I just felt like a pylon. It's the only way I can describe it, of like all the energy coming like through the crowd, up into my hands and up and out and then back. And it was just like this crazy experience. Never ever felt anything like that in my life.
That's awesome. What genre did you play?
Kind of pretty much without knowing it, because this is before I knew much about genres. I was just like, this sounds good together. And I had so many people come up being like, what genre is this? Because I was mixing so many genres together. And I guess because of that, that's why I like to refer to myself as like a multi-genre artist, because it's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy blending genres and kind of like seeing what I can create.
What would be your advice for young female DJs out there wondering if they should get started?
Oh my gosh, do it. It is tough. Like I do get a lot of people say, never to me, always about me, but say things like, oh, you know, you're only successful because you're a girl, or because you're hot, or, you know, oh, if I dress, you know, I want to feel sexy and I dress sexy, that it's like, oh, she's just trying to get attention or whatever. You know, it's like, if you want to be sexy or you want to just wear a t-shirt or whatever, just do you. Don't let the comments of other people hold you back on expressing yourself, because that's what music is. It's about expressing yourself. It's about communicating your vibe and your essence within your music to the audience, and like you want to do that as truly to yourself as possible, for you and for the crowd. And yeah, there's always going to be haters no matter what, and the more successful you get, the more known you get, there will be more haters, because there will also be more followers, and there'll also be more supporters. But quite often it's the haters that tend to get to you more, because they're hating. But you've got to realize, why are people hating? Generally it comes down to mostly jealousy or insecurity, or both. And you've just got to kind of understand, okay, it's alright, this person doesn't actually hate me, it's more their own insecurities. Just hope that they get to a point in their life where they can be happy and find fulfillment within themselves to not criticize others.
So if you had unlimited resources for your dream gig, what would that be?
Wow. Any big European or South American festival. Like Universo, definitely. You know, Ozora is definitely probably the top. Yeah, Tomorrowland, all of them are just goals. But if it was like to run, oh my gosh, I've thought of this a few times. If I had unlimited resources, I'd want to throw like the coolest festival with just like the most epic stage design, like Europe and South America level stages, you know what I mean? Like New Zealand's very far away, so we do have a lot less resources. Our stages aren't quite at that level that, you know, the some of the big ones are. So like bringing something like that to New Zealand, build it here, or you know, skill up enough to be able to do it ourselves. 3D, and it's just like these things, like Tomorrowland was just like out of this world.
Yo.
It was like this whole little fairy garden thing, and it made you feel like you're this tiny. I was like, I can only imagine what it's like to be inebriated at one of those things and being like, oh my gosh, I feel like a tiny little fairy in the garden.
What do you think the important parts of partying are?
Important parts? Connecting, definitely. I feel like connecting with each other, the music, the energy of what the party's about, and creating, and like taking a bit of that home with you. I think definitely respect as well. Like having respect for other people. Big one. Yeah, I think it's something that's kind of becoming more of a thing, and I'm confident that in the next like 10 years, with the amount of trying to make people aware and educate about consent, that it will be a much more established thing in festivals and parties and events.
I like promoting this party because it's like, be a good citizen.
Good Kiwi.